Hello everybody, my name is Cambot. Welcome back to another video. Today I want to give a review on the video game Reign of Kings. It is a Steam video game that is a open world survival medieval game. So pretty much it's exactly like Rust in the terms that it's survival. So when you die, you lose everything. It's permanent death. Granted, you can respawn, but the term permanent death means you just lose all your stuff. You don't respawn with all your stuff. You respawn with a starter gear. And then, you know, the open world, so you could go wherever you please. And then medieval, of course, means bows and arrows, you know, swords, axes, maces, you know, stuff of that matter. Now, I just want to let you guys know this is an early access game. It is an alpha. So there are a ton of bugs, there are a ton of glitches, and since it's so early on in the development of the game, there are a lot of hacks. There has been no anti-cheat system applied to this game yet. Now, I want to touch on the bugs and the glitches first. The bugs and the glitches consist mainly of stuff like you'll try to pull out your weapon, but you can't pull out your weapon, and then you have to like re-log out of the. You have to log out of the server, get back into the server, then you can pull it out. So stuff kind of like that, and sometimes you get stuck doing one thing. Like you can gather water. You have hydration in this game, so you go to like this lake and you gather water. Sometimes you can't stop gathering water, then you have to log out and log back in. So it is kind of a nuisance, but it's not. The bugs, for the most part, aren't really game breaking. There is one bug that you get stuck. Like if you walk into a small narrow crevice, sometimes you can't get out. But there are multiple ways. There are multiple ways to get out. Log out, relog back in. So and then like you'll spawn outside of that little crevice, or you can have one of your friends come and get you out. The glitches, a lot of them were fixed actually in the last patch. You used to be able to swing through a wall and then be able to like grab whatever is on the other side, so you can like open up chests and whatnot. That's fixed. There are the exploits are stuff like there's an explosive cake in the game, which is a lot like the C4 in Rust. But that's currently disabled due to some major exploits with the game or with that item, I should say. So a lot of the exploits are really just things that have to do with cheating as well. There is a hack out for the game, like I said, because there is no anti-cheat system in place. So there are hacks out in the game, but the majority of the hacks that I've seen, and I've seen my fair share of them, are typically speed hackers and duplicators. So of course we know speed hackers can be anywhere pretty much any point in time, and the duplicators just have stuff in their inventory and then they change that to a massive amount, so they can like build up bases really fast. They can get equipment really fast. But I've never really experienced a hacker that has something like that of a god mode. So that is good, because in Rust, there are a ton of hackers and you run into people with god mode all the time. And so here's the thing too about the hackers, like the difference in hackers from Rust to Reign of Kings is in Reign of Kings, you don't have guns. So how are you going to use aimbot? Aimbot, you can't use aimbot with a sword. Wall hacks, what are wall hacks going to do for you? Like if I can't shoot you from a distance, I have to run up to you, you're going to know I'm there. Wall hacks aren't going to be effective really at all. And there's a lot less hackers on Reign of Kings than there are on Rust. So it makes the game more enjoyable and more fair. Like it almost seemed at times in Rust you had to be a hacker just to compete, just to be on a level playing field with everybody else. But on this game you don't really have to. I don't feel like. So that's really good. And they just released some news today that they are currently working on a anti-cheat system for the game. So once that gets implemented, the game will get cleaned up a lot and it'll become a lot better. Now the interesting part I like about this game a little bit more than Rust is the building. In Rust you were very limited in what you could build. You only had 2 building resources. You had wood and metal, and you were very confined to how you could build. In order to build stairs you had to have a completely open foundation that only had posts on the corners. You know, the foundation was a set size. You couldn't do a lot of customization. You couldn't really do stuff that was like aesthetically pleasing. You really just built bases for, you know, defensibility. This game is completely different. This game uses a building system like that of kind of like a Minecraft. You have these small little blocks that you place. And so these blocks, you can place separate types of blocks, as far as like you can place like the square block, like the fully, you know, square block. Then they also have ramps, and then they also have stairs. And since these blocks are smaller, you can do a lot more customization with your base. You know, so you can put your own personal touch onto the base, and it also allows you to do stuff. I've seen some really, really cool bases. Since you can do more customization, I've seen people do bases that look exactly like castles. Like if I was to go back like 600 years, like this is what I would see. People have also made like really neat houses, and there are a bunch of different resources that you can use to make your base. You can use dirt, you can use clay, you can use hay, sticks, wood, iron, and and charcoal. So that's 6 different resources that you have to farm in order to make your base. Now there are I think it's only 5 tiers worth of building supplies, but 6 total resources that you have to farm in order to get them. So the thing is what makes that good is the fact that there's a bunch of different resources that you have to gather in order to build. Is it creates the ability for newer players in a server to build up faster, because things like dirt and hay are really easy to come by. They're really cheap, so you can build up a base really fast. And then you can, you know, as you stay in the server and you farm the better resources that are like a stone or something, then you can upgrade your base to a stone base, and you can be much more secure. But so pretty much you're not limited to the resources that you can gather to build your base, which is very it's very important in my mind, because when you get in the server, the biggest thing you have to do is create a defensible position. You have to create a base where you can protect all your stuff and all your stuff is safe, and it's easier to do in this game. Also, there's some really cool farming mechanics. The tree, like when you chop the tree down, like it actually like falls down like a real tree, instead of having to like farm just straight log nodes. So that's really neat. Another thing, I'm just gonna throw this in here, is they have rain in this game. So like you hear rain and it's falling down. Like you don't see the rain falling, but your monitor looks like it's getting wet. Like your person actually is getting rained on, and like the audio for it is really, really good too. Now, the one thing that makes this game incredibly unique, and probably my favorite part of this game, is capturing. Capturing is when you have like a rope or something and you run up to somebody and you capture them, and you just drag them wherever the hell you want to. You can put them in cages, you can put them in, you know, a guillotine and, you know, slice their head off. You can put them in gallows and hang them, or you can just, you know, kind of run around with them and dick with them. There's a lot, so that's a lot of fun. Plus, you know, you kind of feel like an Indiana Jones whenever you rope somebody. Capturing is probably the most fun part in this game. And if it's not capturing, then it's definitely sieging. Sieging is the Reign of Kings version of raiding for Rust. So pretty much you have trebuchets. And so trebuchets, I'm pretty sure that everybody knows what a trebuchet is here. They launch these really big stones. And so you have to set up a trebuchet, and you have to launch it, and so you have to, like, you know, take your shots, and you have to line up your shots correctly, and you have to pinpoint an area that you want to hit on a base, and then you have to hit it. So it takes a lot more skill to raid a base in Reign of Kings than it did in Rust. Because in Rust, you just went up and you just threw a C4 up on the wall and you blew that bitch up. And this, you have to take your time, you have to set up, and people, like, you know, you don't hit it in one shot. You have to hit it multiple times, and it takes you a couple shots to, you know, get the distance correct and everything. And so people can come out of their base and run at you, and they can try to attack you while you're there, while you are, you know, sieging their base. So the sieging is really, really fun too. It adds a lot more intensity into the game, because you're like, all right, I gotta hit these shots, or else, you know, they're gonna come out and they're gonna try to fight us, and they're just gonna respawn if we kill them. And so the fights go on a lot longer than Rust. You know, in Rust, they were short little, you know, kind of skirmishes. It's like whoever had the bigger gun won, right? But not in this game. I can block abilities, so an iron sword can beat somebody with a steel sword, even though a steel sword is a lot better. So it's a lot more skill based in this game than just, oh, I've been on here for, I've been on the server for 20 more hours than you have, I'm just gonna defeat you. It's a lot better for newbies that are getting into the server, because you can just run away from people with swords. You can't really run away from guns as easily. Like in Rust, like you can't necessarily run away from somebody that easily. But in this game, somebody just has a sword, you can just sprint away. So that's, it's really good because it's a lot more balanced. Just by the nature of the game, it's just way more balanced. Now, the unique thing that this game has over Rust, apart from the base building and the and the sieging and the raiding or whatever, is the throne. Now, there's a king for every single server. And so in this server, the king can set the tax rate. Now, the tax rate is what people gather. So if I'm off chopping wood and the tax rate is set to 5%, 5 out of every 100 wood that I gain goes straight to the king, and the king gets that. Now, you have to capture the king's throne, and the king's throne is the exact same in every single server. The map is the exact same in every single server. So you have to go capture the throne, and you get to set the tax rate. And you also get a special defensive item, like your crown is really good for like defense. And then you also get the strongest weapon in the game. So there are benefits to being the king, but also you're a target for everybody. But being the king is really unique, and it's a lot of fun. I've been the king once already. It's a lot of fun, being able to set the tax rate and kind of control the land. And also, it's really neat because the king's throne is the highest point in the game. So it's really cool because you look down at all your people, at your realm and your peasants or peons or the people in the server, whatever you would like to call them. Now, the last part I want to touch on before I close this video out, guys, is the community. The community in this game, I feel like, is not nearly as toxic as that in Rust. In Rust, it was kill on sight all the time. If you saw somebody off in the distance, you either went to go kill them or you ran away from them. There was no real friendliness in Rust. And that was due to the fact that they had guns. Because I can kill you from a range with my gun. So I don't have to get up. I don't have to get dirty, really. I don't have to fight you. I don't have to be contested necessarily. I can just run up, pop a couple shots in you. You're dead. I get all your stuff. But since there are swords in this game and you have to close the distance, you have to get right up next to me to kill me. It's a lot more dangerous. Because the worst weapon in the game can beat the best weapon in the game if it's played correctly. So there's a lot more threat from somebody like a Naked, than there was in Rust. So the community is a lot less toxic in the fact that there's a lot less kill on sight, and people tend to be a lot friendlier. As far as if you get captured, like I told you guys, capturing is a really big part. Like a lot of people get captured. I do a lot of capturing. And a lot of times when you get captured, you don't get killed. People just, rope you up and just drag you along because it's funny. And then they just let you go and they let you go off back to doing what you're doing. And so there's not a lot of killing in the game that goes on like there was in Rust. And just the general feel of the community is just a much better place than, Rust really ever was. So that's of course, like a big positive for me. And but guys, I definitely suggest that you do get this game. If you liked Rust, get this game. It's $20, same price as Rust. Get this game. It's incredibly fun. And also, there's another game that it's compared to is Chivalry Medieval Warfare. I've never played this game, but I've heard the fighting mechanics are really very similar. So if you played Chivalry and you like that, then I've heard that this game is also a really fun game for you to play. But if you guys got any questions for me, if you want to know more about the game before you buy it, don't hesitate to talk to me. I'd be more than happy to talk to you guys, go a little bit more into detail about what the game's all about and everything, if that's what you guys want. So just, message me on Steam, leave a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to get back to you and talk to you about this game. It's a really, really fun game. I've enjoyed the hell out of it so far, and it's only been out a week. There's a lot of potential for it to grow into a very, well-rounded and fun game for everybody. But guys, I thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I will see you in the next video.